Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me. Over the past little while, I've gotten a few private messages and had some conversations regarding knives and what I recommend for certain chores and what types of grinds I would recommend and whatnot. And I'm a big fan of the convex grind. Now, a lot of folks are kind of unwilling to get into a convex knife because of the price point. Generally, convex knives, for a decent quality one, you're going to be looking at spending over $100 for sure, and quite a bit north of there if you're looking at something really high end. And a lot of people really aren't willing to take that plunge if they've never used a convex knife before. And that's really my reason for doing a pass around. I've often thought it would be really cool to be able to get a knife into everybody's hand that is a convex and let them use it for a little while and you know, have it passed on to the next person. And unfortunately, my knife I'll never let out of my sight. This is my Falneven, and so it's a matter of trying to find the right knife to do that. So before we go any further, I'll just maybe talk very, very briefly about what a convex blade is. When it comes to bushcraft, there's really three different types of grinds that are the most common. The Scandi, which is a zero bevel, such as this Heli, which is actually my knife's wife, or my wife's knife. You can see how the blade is flat along the sides, and then it's got one single bevel that's very high, and it goes into a very sharp edge. There's no secondary bevel. It's just straight into a very fine point. That gives you a really fine edge, and it's really great for kind of wood crafts. The next type is a flat grind. Pretty much everybody knows what a flat grind is. It's still, you know, angled on both sides, but there's a secondary edge bevel, and that creates shoulders and whatnot. But it's easy to produce, and it's very common. Into the convex grind, where it's basically rounded all the way down. There is no secondary bevel. This is curved from the spine all the way to the edge. So you can kind of see in the light, as I tilt it towards the light, it's a complete curve. It's a lot of people compare it to like an apple seed or a seed pod, just very curved and streamlined. If you're interested in you know, really scientific and mathematical reasoning behind the convex, I'll recommend a few channels to go check out. I'm really not going to get into it further than I already have, but I would certainly recommend Kylie Harris from Knives and Stuff, Gavco, Cliff Stamp, Virtuo Vice, another great one. Check those guys out, and they've got everything that you'd be interested in regarding all the numbers and whatnot, and geometry. So now, all that being said, let's get to the meat and potatoes. I should probably mention too that the reason that I got into convex blades, this is probably back in 2001, 2002, when I decided I was going to start looking into knife making. I read this book, which is kind of a Bible amongst knife makers. Wayne Goddard, famous knife maker. He's a master smith. He's really big into the convex edge, and he kind of lays it out in this book as well. So what I was doing, I was just kind of messing around today, and had my Mora High-Q Robust. I previously did a review on it, and it has a Scandi grind on it. So what I figured I'd do is a little bit of reprofiling. So what I've done is reprofiled the edge into a full height convex. That means it's convexed from the spine all the way to the tip. I did kind of mess up the tip a little bit. It's not as sharp as I'd like it, but for the purposes it'll be fine, I think. I don't want to remove any more and make the blade shorter. So we'll go with this. So this is what I'll be passing around to anybody that's interested. It's a great knife. I'd love to hear your thoughts on a convex grind. It is good and sharp. Find some paper here. I figured we could, maybe cut some newsprint, because everybody will have it. It's definitely newsprint cutting sharp. And so that's going to be the first item that I'm going to send. Now the thing about convex grinds is that you need to be able to maintain them. And I've been kind of working on a travel system for my own needs. I originally saw this this idea being made on Matty the Goose channel. So here it is. This is a leather strop along the top. Got another piece of leather along the bottom, or along the top, whichever way you look at it, I guess. Each side there's a piece of leather. The middle is oak. I've already got the compound on this side. So we'll maybe take these elastics off. So on the inside I've got compound, which is your honing compound. Okay. And it just it's a little bit sticky, but that's good. It just goes in like so. And then I've got different grits of wet dry sandpaper. I've got from 220, 400, 800, and 1000. After 1000 is when you want to strop. And the way this works, I've actually got two sheets here. We'll demonstrate with the 220. So what you do is you put the piece of sandpaper over top, grab your elastic band, and cinch it down. You want it nice and flat. And there you go. You've got a little bit of resistance. Some people like using a mouse pad. I prefer something a little bit harder because it's really easy to screw up your edge with a mouse pad if you're not exactly right. So there you go. There's your sharpener. And you sharpen it like you're stropping it, following the edge, following the curve of the blade. So you're sharpening just like you're stropping, away from the edge. Now I did put the 220 in there. It's pretty gritty. Chances are you won't need it if it's unless you've like taken some serious nicks out of the blade. But like I said, there is 400, 800, and 1000, as well as the strop with the compound. Okay, so that's what I want to start sending around for people to try out. The preference will be given to people who are really interested in the Convex and haven't had a chance to try it themselves. I don't know how many people I'm going to send it out to, but it'll probably be a first come first serve kind of situation. So here are the rules. So it's open worldwide. Like I said before, priority will be given to those who are inexperienced with convex knives, and you know that's what this whole pass around is for, is to let people see what it's what a convex blade is all about. So from the time that you receive the knife, you'll have a 2-week window to try it out, test it out, put it through its paces, take it out and use it, and then you'll be required to send it on to the next person in the list. What I'll do is when you get it, I will send you the address of the next person to mail it to, and that way everybody's address isn't floating around in cyberspace. Yeah, you can trust me, everybody, with your address, and I will only give out the next one down the road. So after that window, I'd like to see a VR made to this video. You don't need to say it's a VR, just make a video on what you think of the convex knives, and or on this particular convex knife, and your thoughts, and what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and just attach it as a VR to this video. Another thing is, obviously you've got to agree to ship it on to the next person on the list, even if that person's worldwide. I've got subscribers all over the place. What I'm going to try to do is try to keep it, I don't want to be going back and forth across the pond over and over again, so I'll try to work out the most cost-effective way to get it shipped around, and we'll go like that. And the other thing is, you must agree to sharpen and maintain it as needed. So I mean, that's just simple stuff like prior to shipping it, maybe just give it a thin bit of oil. It is a high carbon, it's not stainless, so it will tarnish, and that's fine. But just please don't abuse the knife. This isn't going to be a torture test. It's just a comparison between a full height convex and what you're used to. You can go ahead and feel free to modify the knife and the stropping system any way you see fit, as long as it doesn't alter the use of the items. I don't want you shortening the blade, or changing the blade to a non-convex, obviously. But I mean, if you want to add some embellishment here and there, that would be awesome as well. If not, that's fine too. And lastly, I'd also like to say that I don't want to. I'm not going to just let it go to anybody. I'd like to give it to people who I can more or less trust. People with channels that have made videos before are certainly going to get top priority. So that's it, guys. I know that I've already got one in line, so it's going to be going out within the next couple days. So I will have at least a couple of weeks to get a list together and ship it out to you. Again, this is just to hear everybody else's thoughts on how they like this type of blade, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'd like to see any kind of video that you would have of using it, and obviously the VR. I'd like to know your thoughts, and I think it'll be really interesting for everybody. And like I said, I will get this out within the next couple days. And what you can do is, if you're interested in being part of the pass around, send me a private message, and I will post a list of channels in the description who are in, and I will manage the shipping in terms of who's getting it next and whatnot, and we'll go from there. So thanks everybody who participates, and I really look forward to it. Talk to you soon.